What's up, Dank homies? Nero here, and today we're going to be talking about the Ohma is the index Tonfa weapon that's held by one of the index enemies. And you can purchase the blueprint for this weapon straight from the market, and it's going to cost you 419 to actually craft this thing. All the other stuff you'll definitely already have. I mean, come on, I have 1,800,000 ferrite, so that's no problem at all. Plastoids, all that stuff, but the 19 is going to be the main thing you're going to be farming for this weapon. And is it worth it? I would say it kind of is. The weapon's pretty good. These stats are as such. It is based in electricity, which is 100 electricity damage. It has a 30% status chance, which is equal to the lesion. It has 15% critical chance and a 2 times critical multiplier. This currently has the highest amount of spin attack damage out of all the other melee weapons in the game. And the attack speed isn't that to brag about, but you're mainly going to be depending on speed for this weapon, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Now, before we get into the builds of this weapon, I want to talk about the 2 Tonfa stances. Now, this is the new stance that came out just recently along with the Ohma, called Sovereign Outcast. And the stance is pretty fast, but I personally don't think it's the stance for this melee weapon. I mean, it doesn't utilize what makes this weapon good. It constantly stops. Like you can see the pause there. And that really breaks its DPS. And it has some pretty good looking combos. But all those stops is just really lowering its DPS. It also doesn't really have that much forward momentum. And even when you're pressing forward, it stops you. So if you're like trying to follow a capture target, you can say, yeah, right, you're not going to catch up. Now, I just really hope that nobody's trying to sell this mod for a really high price, because really there's no Tofa that really needs this mod. So yes, I know it's the new shiny, but don't go around trying to sell this mod for some ridiculous price. Oh god dang it. So now let's talk about the other stance mod for this weapon, Gemini Cross. Gemini Cross is just a overall beautiful stance where all the attacks are almost seamless, and both right click attacks have a 100% chance of proccing slash. Look at this. And on that ground slam you just saw, that will utilize the ground slam ability of this weapon, where when you do a ground slam, about 8.5 meters away from the player, all enemies within that range will be electrified, and they'll be procced with electricity. Now, this is my first build for this weapon. I have Berserker and Primed Fury, because the higher the DPS, the more likely you're going to proc a critical. And the more criticals that you proc, the more you're going to be invisible with Narman. And that way you'll be able to get the stealth multiplier with the weapon as well. And I also have these 2 element mods, so you can get corrosive. And I have Molten Impact and Volcanic Edge for more fire damage, or more heat damage. And I have Condition Overload. Now, this mod right here, it isn't just 60% melee damage, because you have heat and corrosive that you'll be proccing, but you'll also be proccing electricity and slash. So this is actually 240% melee damage, and if you so happen to proc puncture, I forget if that's inside of the stance mod here, then you'll be doing even more than that, which is pretty insane. Now, this build is mainly for Grenier, which is why it's corrosive and heat, but if you want to go against Corpus and Infested, then simply change around these 3 mods so that it turns into gas and electricity, which does more damage against Corpus and Infested enemies, which all the other mods are exactly the same. But now, keep in mind, these builds are mainly for if you have Narman. It works without Narman, it works pretty fine without Narman, but if you have Narman, it works even better, which is why we have Berserker and Prime Fury. That way we can have more criticals, and we turn invisible more, and we get the stealth multiplier. But now, let's say you're already a Warframe that is already stealth. Well, now instead of Berserker, like if you're using Loki or Ivara or Ash, you replace that with Drifting Contact. That way you have even more status chance, and you have combo duration. That way you can build up your combo and you'll be able to do more damage that way as well. Now, one more thing before I actually demonstrate the weapon. The weapon has a pretty nifty little aesthetic to it. Whenever you deal damage using the Ohma, a electric arc or a lightning bolt will come off from the Ohma and go to the target, but it doesn't actually deal damage, it just looks cool, which I'll show you here. And look at that beautiful lag. Yeah. Oh my! Now I already have Narman turned on, and I'm going to test the weapon up against level 115 corrupted enemies. And without further ado, let's see what it can do. I just rhymed do with the do. Alright, so now this time I'm going to use Loki and use the gas and electricity build against the same enemies, and you'll see the massive difference with the weapon. Okay, I know I can't use the Naruto theme song because it'll be copyrighted, but you gotta admit that was funny with the weapon.
Listen closely. Here's a little lesson in trickery. This is going down in history. If you wanna be a villain #1, you have to chase a superhero on the run. Just follow my moves and sneak around. Be careful not to make a sound. Shh. No, don't touch that.
Swag. And also, before I forget, if you look on my shoulders, chest, and legs, and that little tassel thing there on the end of my melee weapon, that all came within the update as well. You can get them in a pack. It's called the Quaro set. Yeah, Quaro. Called the Quaro. So, in conclusion, I really like these weapons for stealth. Not as much without stealth, but I do like it with stealth. It doesn't compare to the Legion, best melee weapon in the game. I'm calling it right now. And I do have a video coming for the Legion really soon. I was supposed to be working on that, but I didn't expect this weapon to come out. But yeah, I want to stop rambling. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then if you want to become part of the Dank homie family, then go ahead and do so. And I will see. I'm still sick, very sick. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Peace.
Is all you can be certain about. Don't change, don't change, don't change. Even though life ain't the same. Say, don't change, don't change, don't change. Life gon' make it happen anyway. I say, don't change, don't change, don't change. Even though life ain't the same. Say, don't change, don't change, don't change.